How do you sell your movie on Amazon Prime? I'm going to walk you through step by step how to set up a movie for sale on Amazon Prime in 2023. My name is Alex, aka Shreddy, and I'm a video editor that's worked with a lot of big creators here on YouTube. And I'm also an aspiring filmmaker, likely just like you. I've self-distributed my own movie Cashing Out, and I've actually had a lot of luck with it, so I want to share my insights. All right, let's get into this. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to Prime Video Direct. I typically just Google it, but it's this videodirect.amazon.com. That's where you're going to want to go. This is pretty much where everything is going to happen. The first thing that's going to pop up, you'll likely have to sign up. You'll need an Amazon account. I created a completely separate one with my business account just to keep everything centralized with the business. I would highly recommend doing that as well if you're trying to take this seriously as a career. But once you get signed up and all that, the first thing that's going to pop up is your performance metrics page. And it's technically the dashboard, but this is where you're going to see a lot of your performance and all that. Right here in this section where it says 0, unfortunately, haven't had anybody watching Cashing Out in the last week, but this is where you would see your metrics for the last week. You can see that there's different criteria here on what you can change as far as what you can look at. You can change the amount of time. I wish there was a little bit more options here, or maybe even a custom option. So note to you, Amazon, I'd really love to see a custom option here. And then specifically, you can look up for like a specific movie. So for me, I have 2 feature films on here, Cashing Out and Underneath It All. So I can just type in either one of these. So let's say Cashing Out, for instance. I can type Cashing Out, and it's only going to bring me the metrics for Cashing Out. Down here, we have the earnings, which you are going to see this. So this is for September. So this is where your current earnings for the month is going to be. And then down here at the bottom where it says payments, this is where you're going to see your payments for the month. So specifically, so I got paid for, it looks like September 29th, I was paid $8 from Amazon for what they owe me. This is what Amazon gives you after they take their cut. So this is what's left. Looks like we have a rental here. So rentals, basically they take 50%. So that means Cashing Out made $30 for September estimated, and I got 15 of that. Now with the payments, it's a little bit different. So Amazon actually pays 2 months behind. So I didn't get paid this $8 until September, but if you go up to the earnings, and I go to 3 months behind to June 2022, you can see that I made $8 from the movie. And this is pretty common with any film distribution or aggregator. They typically pay a few months behind. So when you get your account set up, this is going to be one of the first things that you do is you're going to have to enter in details as far as your company name, account name, email address, all that. I have all this blurred out for obvious reasons. You can see here on the left side, you have your payee set up with your company profile, payment and banking, tax information, etc. You're going to have to do this in order to get paid from them. Essentially, it's like setting up a W-9. So if you're a freelancer, you're probably no stranger to W-9s. It's essentially the same thing, but digitized. So once you get all your money from the year, the following year, Amazon will send you a 1099 like you would get from a lot of your companies you may be freelancing for. It works pretty much the exact same way. I don't believe they withhold any taxes. They don't withhold taxes for me, but if you have to have taxes withhold, I do believe that's an option on here. I don't want to spend a lot of time on setting up the company profile. It's pretty much like setting up any other profile that you've done in the past. So let's get into the bulk of why you're here. So at the top, we have dashboard, your videos, and landing page. So we're going to click on your videos. But before we move on, I just wanted to ask that you subscribe to the channel if you are finding this content useful. I really appreciate it. Let's move on. And this is going to be the home of where all of your content is going to live. So you can see I have standalone, which is going to be your movies, shorts, and all that. So I have Cashing Out, Underneath It All, and Adopt. And as you can see here, we have all the territories that we can distribute to. So if you're an individual, you can only distribute by yourself to Japan, the United Kingdom, United States, and Germany. More than likely, if you're like me in the United States and you don't have a dub version of your movie, you're probably only going to be able to do it in the UK and the United States. And you can see here with these little dots in the center, these are basically status dots. Cashing Out and Underneath It All, you can see they're green. That means it's up and live. With Adopt, on the other hand, you can see we got a submission error. Shorts are currently not available on Amazon Prime. It's a little confusing, and I'll explain why in a second. But at least when I was trying to put shorts up a while ago, they stopped doing it probably a year or so later. Amazon is getting very picky with what you can and cannot put on the platform. So let's go ahead and walk through how we actually add a title to Amazon Prime. So you're going to want to click this yellow add title button right here. And then we have some information we have to input. We have the title, we have category, and then we have title metadata language. And as you can see here from the title, we have a little information icon right next to it that kind of gives us some requirements on what is and isn't allowed for the title of the movie. I'm not going to read each of these. You can do that on your own if you'd like, but I'm going to go ahead and just enter a title. So let's put in cashing out too for funsies, right? We're going to pick a category. So you have these different categories. As I mentioned before, it's a little confusing that short films is the category because to my knowledge, they still are not taking short films. So I'm not really sure what's going in there, but we're just going to assume that you're trying to upload a feature film. And then for the title metadata language, we're just going to keep it in English, but you also have German and Japanese available to you as well, which makes a lot of sense since there's only 4 different territories that you are allowed to publish in. So we're going to hit continue. Now you're at this blank screen here where you're going to have to enter in information about your project. I personally already have 2 of these set up, so I don't think it makes a lot of sense for me to just show you blank ones and walk you through it. So I'm actually going to go back to my videos and select cashing out, and I'll kind of show you what I did. And as you can see here, when I go back to your videos, the main page here, we're actually in draft status with cashing out too. I'll have to delete that later. Hopefully they let me delete it. So I select cashing out here. And then as you can see here, I have all this information filled out. So at the top here, we got the title of the movie. I just have cashing out, no caps or anything like that besides the first letters of each of the words. I have the category here. I would recommend keeping your synopsis short and sweet because you have to sell these people on your movie very, very quickly, especially on Amazon where there's so much different content. So, and to further explain why, I'm actually going to go to the landing page for cashing out so you can see what it looks like. So you can see I got my synopsis right here, the director, directors, starring, genres, all this. It's very, very minimal information. So you want to try to keep it as short and sweet as possible. So going back to the main page, you can see that we can enter in genre. So I chose drama crime, drama sports, just you want to put anything in there that's related to your movie. So let's say you're doing some sort of action movie. I would put action. Maybe if it goes a little bit further with the genre, with a subgenre, I would put that in there. Maybe there's some comedic elements to it. Like if you got like a buddy comedy movie or maybe like a cop drama or something like that. Those are pieces that you can enter in to further niche down your movie. I'd say the more niche down you can get, especially on Amazon, the better. We have the country / the region. We have the original language, the release date, the rating. The rating is a little interesting. You really need to think about what your movie would be rated if it were in a theater. So for instance, like with rated R movies, they allow the curse words. With PG-13 movies, you can only have so many curse words or you can only have so many F-bombs. You can't show too much blood, stuff like that. So for me personally with cashing out, there's a lot of PG-13 elements to it. There's not really many rated R elements to that. And I did it purposely while writing the script. So I chose 13 plus because it didn't, I guess 16 plus could have worked too. But again, there's not a whole lot of things in this movie that would really categorize it above the R rating, which would be technically a 17 plus. But again, you know your movie better than I do, so you just have to be very careful about what you choose. And then down here, we have our key art. So this is very, very important. So we have 3 different pieces of key art here, and that's all you get. So we have the Prime icon. If you use the Prime app at all, you'll notice that we have posters. When you go to search cashing out, here's the poster. So that's going to pop up on your search. That's what this icon is right here, but this is the actual Prime icon. So if you're on the Prime app, you'll be able to see that exact icon. And then we have the Prime image over here. So I picked one of the more iconic moments of the movie that I felt that helped sell the movie a bit. And as you can see here on the landing page, the image shows up right here, right before it starts playing the trailer. So there's a lot of specific requirements for all of your key art. So I would recommend checking out this little link right here, the graphic assets guide. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And it just gives you a lot of information on how to properly format and how you should just in general do your key art so Amazon accepts the movie. Because if you don't do your key art correctly, they could reject the movie. That's actually happened to me. I think I had that problem early with Cashing Out, trying to put this movie up. I had to change some things. So one thing you'll notice is that my Prime icon and my poster both look very similar. So I actually have two different posters for Cashing Out. And I think I ended up using one of them. And so I kept the Prime icon like this, but I used the other Cashing Out poster as my key art here. But because they aren't the same image, essentially, Amazon ended up rejecting it. And it makes a lot of sense because your movie needs to be easy to find. And if you have two different images for your posters, that can get very confusing for consumers who are looking for what to watch. So make sure you just keep that in mind. So next, we'll go ahead and go up to the cast and crew tab right here. And then you can see right here, we have the studio/creator name. So I put my AWS Films company. We have the crew. You can add a few different crew people in here, writer, director, producer. Since all that was me, I just kept it simple and just put myself as the director. No real need to put myself in all three of those things. And then you have the cast here at the bottom. So I just kept that as the main people just to keep it simple and keep it searchable. And to be quite honest, I believe on the landing page, only the top 3 people show up. Yeah, so only the top 3 people show up here. So honestly, you could probably just pick your 3 main actors and that will be enough. So let's move on to the video assets tab next to cast and crew. And then you can see here we have some options. So we have your mezzanine file. The mezzanine file is your main video file for the movie. Again, there's some specific requirements as far as how you need to export your movie. So make sure you're following those guidelines. And if you click this little information icon right here, there will be a hyperlink to all of the requirements for their uploads. So as you can see here, we have the asset requirements. So let's just focus specifically on the mezzanine file. We have the different codecs that you can use. You can use AVC/H.264, which is what I used. You can use ProRes 422. You can use MPEG 2. The resolutions, so you got the SD resolutions. You don't have to upload these separately, but if you only had an SD copy of your movie, this is what you would need. And then for your HD video, you got your standard 1920 by 1080 or 1280 by 720. I would obviously recommend the 1920 by 1080 because if you have it, it's better to have the better resolution. Now, a question I commonly get is if you can upload 4K movies to Amazon Prime. Unfortunately, you cannot. As you can see here, there's a note that says 4K UHD is currently not supported on Amazon Prime. That's really unfortunate because I feel like that would solidify more filmmakers as far as quality. If they were able to upload more high quality files, maybe that will come one day, but I've had my movie on Amazon Prime for 2 years now, and they still haven't changed that. And then we have some other requirements. You have your frame rates, aspect ratios, bit rates. You'll want to follow this as much as you can, but you don't need to complicate it either. I exported my entire movie through Adobe Premiere Pro. I think I used one of their standard YouTube H.264 settings and it accepted the movie. I made sure it was a higher quality one with a large bit rate, but you should just be able to use any H.264 setting and have some luck with it. And then you can see here, there's some other requirements. We're not going to get into those. If you have some questions about them, I'm happy to answer them in another video, but I just want to focus on the overview of all this more than anything else. So let's go back. You have the option to upload a trailer. I would highly recommend doing that because as you can see on the landing page here for Cashing Out, it does play the trailer automatically, and it's better, to help sell your movie if there is some sort of trailer on it. And then you're also able to upload a closed caption file, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yes, okay. So if you hit the information icon, I think they screwed up the grammar here, but basically they're saying if you are distributing your movie through an English language in the US or other regions, you have to have a caption file. That is something that you're going to have. There's no way to get around that on Amazon. And it makes sense because they're trying to appeal to as wide an audience as possible. And you don't really want to discriminate against people who are hard of hearing or just people like me who watch everything with closed captions no matter what. Adobe Premiere Pro has some really great auto captions now. You'll have to fix some things, no doubt, but their captioning AI is starting to get a lot better. But personally for me, when I did this 2 years ago, I used a service called rev.com. It was really great. I don't know what the price is now. The last time I checked, it was $1.25. It could have gone up from there, $1.25 per minute. Back when I did it, it was $1 per minute, so it only cost me about $120 or so to caption the entire movie. And they did it extremely fast, so I didn't really have to wait that long. But there are plenty of other third-party services where you can caption your movie as well. And then as you can see, you'll have to select the frame rate, the language, all that. And that's pretty much it for your video assets. And then as far as availability, you're going to have to choose where you want your movie to be available and when. There was a time when Amazon let me put this movie on Prime. I still don't know why they took it off. I'm kind of upset about that because it was doing pretty well. So it seemed like it just came out of left field that they took it down. Like the movie had like 1.2 million minutes watched. So people were watching it. I don't understand to this day why they took it down. Amazon is pretty notorious for just taking things down and not really explaining it to you, which is super annoying. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, as you can see here, I released my movie on February 25th, 2020. I actually got to pick that date. And then you could see we have preset pricing and custom pricing. So you have, you can go with a base price, which is what new movies generally have when they are released on Amazon. Or if you have an older movie, you can select value. It will drop the price a little bit, or you can do custom pricing, which is what I did. And I changed this based on the time of the movie. So it was a little bit more when the movie first came out. And then when it kind of died down a little bit, I dropped the price a bit to incentivize more people, to watch it. And then you could do this for the United Kingdom as well. I don't have that set for Amazon just because it wasn't really doing very well, so I turned it off. But you do have the option to do that. So once you're done with that, hit save. And then the last part of this is to hit submit for review. Going back, I mentioned that I released my movie on February 25th, 2020. It's been about 2 years or so since I have uploaded anything to Amazon. One thing I will tell you is that it could take weeks for them to approve your movie. I did not upload this on February 25th, 2020. I uploaded this around January because I knew that it was going to take a while for them to approve everything. And you could run into issues like I did with the key art where you have to fix something, which makes the process take even longer. So just make sure you're keeping that in mind when you do submit for your movie. Like if, you don't want to do it a week before you hope to release it because it's probably not going to happen. But that's pretty much it. You just hit submit for review. And then when you go back to your video dashboard, your status right here will say something along the lines of reviewing or something like that. And then you'll have a half-filled green circle right here. Once they approve it, it will be completely filled with the green. And if there's something wrong, like the key art or, just any issues in general, they'll tell you what's wrong. And then you'll just have to fix it, submit for review again, and then just go through the whole waiting process again. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Feel free to watch this video of me answering some frequently asked questions about Amazon, and I'll see you on the next one.